You're listening to the Run The Riot Podcast, where we talk about all things ultra running. I'm your host, David Terrio, and man, I'm pumped that you are here. Let's see what we can get into today. Today on the Run The Riot Podcast, we got John Calabrese. What's going on, man?
Woo! It's a good day, man. It's a good day. Got some knee pain, but it's all right. It's gonna work. It's all gonna work out, man. It's all gonna work out.
I'm right there with you, bro. Old dudes with the knee pain. Let's go.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's tough. Well, so where you at right now, man? Where are we talking?
So I'm in the basement right now of my mom's office. So basically during summer when school's out, family, we all work together. So my daughter has a really good time and no one gets left out. After this, we're gonna go swim. Then I'm gonna run some more. But yeah, man, when school's out, it's these are full days, man. I try to get as many runs as possible, try to get as many podcasts, and just live life, bro.
That's it. That's nice, man. So yeah, you sent me pictures. I'll post it on the page if it's okay with you. If your daughter's setting up, she was testing out your tech.
Yeah, she's smarter than I am with it. So sometimes you need a tech chief, and little kids are good for that,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They got to earn their keep a little bit sometimes,
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, so you said you already got a run in this morning?
Yeah, I went 5 this morning. It was all right. It was pretty nice. It's starting to get really hot here in Virginia, so I try to break it up. And also because I can't just do a long run every day. One, my knee will give out, and then 2, I just don't have the time. I can't just be like, all right, kid, see you later. See you later, Jillian.
Yeah. What's the weather like right now out there in Virginia?
So it's I think it's around 85, 90ish, like in the peak, heat. We get a lot of rain. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of rain though. Ever since winter, it's been really wet here, so that's kind of helped balance it out some. But it's starting to get hot here now, so I gotta just be smart about it, which I'm usually not. So,
how's the humidity over there?
It's pretty rough. I mean, it's not like Florida or anything like that, but it's tough. That's why this rain is really nice. Just to I don't like rain during winter, of course. Nobody does, but during summer, it's yes, cool me off, please. I need this.
Yeah. Well, I'm from South Louisiana, so humidity.
Oh yeah.
And I was surprised. I live in Oklahoma now, and the humidity here is pretty gnarly. I was surprised at how much humidity there is here, and so that makes it a little tough. But so knee pain. Let's just talk about knee pain for a minute. What's going on with your knee, man? What's happening,
dude? The inside of my knee is all messed up. I ran a lot of miles early on in the year, and I don't know what's going on. I'm still able to run on it, and I've been wearing a brace and stuff like that when I'm not running and using a lot of ice and things like that. But man, it's not fun, man. It's not cool. But again, I'm lucky I can run still, but it's just not it's not optimal.
Yeah. Well, those that listen and on our newsletter know so I've had 2 ACL reconstructions on the same knee, jiu-jitsu and then a stupid trampoline. So trampolines are the devil. You don't have to be a cool dad to don't jump on a trampoline. Just stay off. It's terrible, especially if you want to keep running. Anyway, I destroyed my knee in 2009 ACL, 2015 ACL, cartilage, meniscus, all the things. Anyway, and so I just had, I think 5 weeks out, I just had it scoped again and some meniscus cleared out and all. And
that's scary stuff, man. You're saying a lot of scary words right now that I don't want to hear.
Yeah, I know, man. It's rough. But I had, part of it's my left knee is fantastic, and everybody's like, oh, it's because of the running. I was like, no, okay, look, my left knee is good. It's because I have had surgeries and then I ran a bunch on it after the surgery. So, I did Moab in October and it was pretty good. Built up a little bit, but then it started having issues when I'm ramping up training. So this morning, you're gonna laugh. This is when you're talking I always say when you can't do what you want, do what you can. So I can't run yet, but I walked 7 miles this morning, power hike at a 13 something just to get the miles in because I got a race in July I'm hoping to do. So
no, the 13-minute pace, man. That's one thing I need to train more on is just straight up hiking. I'm a terrible hiker. I feel like the only time I ever get it in is when I'm bonked out on a race, on a longer ultra. So if you can get that, if you have the discipline to get that in, because when I'm not racing, I just want to run. So I don't get that training unless I'm walking the dog or something like that, which I walk my dog a lot. So I feel like I totally just do that halfway.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of what I'm trying to I'm staying positive with it, and I'm like, all right, this is good. I'm working on my power hiking because we all end up kind of doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Are you in a pretty hilly area there? How is it where you live?
I mean, we got some mountains here. That's another thing though, with like school being out. I run on the road a lot. I mean, I
Yeah,
got some flack for that, but I mean, like it's hard to like like a lot of times like where my daughter's dance studio is. There's a trail somewhat near there, but if I drive to it, that's more time away from running. So a lot of times I end up just like running on the road because it's convenient. But I mean, like for any dads out there, just get it any way you can. That's how I look at it. I mean, running is running.
yeah.
It'd be cool to do on a trail, yeah, and to get more hill work and stuff like that. But if you can't get it in, you're better off running.
Yeah, that's it. And most, I mean, I would say probably close to 100% of my running during the week is on the roads
Yeah.
because that's where I live. And then on the weekends, I'll try to hit the trails when I can. And then that doesn't always happen either. Just, as a dad, as a husband, and, we gotta balance the things, man.
Well, and like also like so like my girlfriend's a runner too, and she likes road and stuff like that. She's done ultras before, but like it's you got to be cool. You can't be like, all right, well, I'm not running with you this weekend. I'm going out to to an isolated trail in the middle of nowhere. Like one, she's not going to want to go there, and two, like you gotta balance that out. So we're doing like a 10-mile race this weekend in Baltimore. We're doing the Baltimore 10-miler, and yeah,
Nice.
I mean we try to like do like races that we can like kind of share experiences and stuff like that. And she's cool. She cruises me on a lot of ultras and stuff like that. So it's balanced. You can't just you can't be super selfish. I know the sport it can be a selfish sport, but you gotta be cool to the family also. You can't be that selfish.
Well, John, so how old are you now?
I'm 44.
Okay. All right. So you've been, of course, when you messaged me and we're messaging back and forth and stuff, of course I had to go to your ultra sign up, do a little homework there and see, and, just see how long you've been running. It tells a story,
It
and
does.
so tell me about how you got involved in running and in running at all. And then what brought you to ultra running?
It's a weird journey as it always is with, I'm sure you've heard over the years talking to people, but yeah, I mean like I was going through divorce and just like some demons and stuff like that, and it's kind of weird. Like I always liked running, but I always I kind of just like thought about it as like a component to other sports. Like I grew up huge baseball, football fan. Like I was just like, I ran track in like middle school, but I didn't really like it, and like I probably should have tried out for like the cross country team or something like that, but I think just I was more into other sports, so I just didn't do it. And then I joined the military, and they planted the seed for running. Yeah, because you have to run for that. To pass.
Yeah, you're gonna run.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, like, if not, you're gonna get kicked out. But so they planted the seed and got me actually kind of like liking running a little bit. I would like run and then drink a beer or something. Like victory. Yeah, I got the mile in. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that at least planted the seed. And then when I got out of the military, I started doing a little bit here and there, and then just going through like divorce, I was just really beat up and tired and stressed out. So I was like, I need to do something for me, and I did it, and I never stopped. I just kept on, keep upping the ante. And the funny thing is, like, this is the journey that most people take, or probably anyone should take. But I signed up for like a trail race by mistake. I was just like, after my first marathon, I was like, I don't want this to end. This was so much fun. I don't want the party to be over with. So the next available race nearby me was like, it was just, I looked at it as another marathon. I didn't think about like trail matter. Like it mattered if it was a trail race or anything. And it did. And I learned off that, like how, like when to walk and stuff like that. And also it was just fun because I was like, people walk on marathons. So like, I thought it was like bad walk. So like, I was like, this is great. This is great. I saw people with sticks and stuff. I was like, cool. Yeah. And like the aid stations, you can eat here. They let you eat.
Is it like this food?
You don't have to eat that weird repulsive like substance that they give you in those tubes and containers. So the stuff that gives you diarrhea. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was already sold from that, but then I don't know exactly how. I think I got like, how like when you first start doing races, you like want to Google the really hard ones. Like I looked up like what's the hardest race out there? You see like Badwater and all this stuff, and then like I got obsessed with the Barkley Marathon, so I was like, how do you get in that? And then like no, I got this is a weird story. I signed up for the Fall Classic just as like like I probably won't get in this. And my name came up because there was a hurricane, and like I'm best as like Laz and Steve Durbin. I was like, "Is this real?" They're like, "Yeah, see you there." So I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay." So like, I thought it was the real one. I didn't even think there was a difference between the fall class.
You thought you were in the Barkley.
Yeah. So like, this lady put me with this dude, and like I picked him up. I didn't even know this is also the beauty of ultra running that drew me in. Like everyone becomes your best friend. So like I picked up this dude I didn't know at all, but he's a cop, so I was like, he can't be too crazy. So like I picked him up. Eric Coleman, shout out. But like I picked him up, and I was like, so how are we gonna find the book pages? He was like, he's like, you jackass, we don't have to do that. This is the fall classic. I was like, oh. Phew. So like I thought we were doing the big one, but he was like, no, I should be able to put the pieces together, because like I didn't look at like how many people were signed up or anything, because there's like 450 people or maybe more for the fall classic, and like so I was happy, and then I didn't get the 50K, but I got the marathon, and like that's still pretty hard, and that just like drew me in. I was like, these people are nuts and they're fun, and I like them better than marathoners. And don't get me wrong, I love the road community too, but like there's just something a little different about like people that run like Barkley and stuff like that. They're awesome people. They're very interesting, and I love them.
That's funny. So we've had a lot of like, you talk about meeting somebody. Like the way I got introduced to the ultra running community, I was gonna go run a trail in Louisiana, and I posted on the message board like, hey, I want to go run it's Chico State Park, where the Loup-Garou or Cajun Coyote used to be, and 100 miler. I want to go run the loop. Anybody want to go? And somebody I had never met before said, yeah, I'll be there. What time you want to be there? Like, so you meet some dude you never met before in the woods in the dark and go run a 20-mile loop with them. And then you're like, shout out to Lane Gramillion. We're friends now, you know?
It's so weird.
That was part of my journey, just picking their brain on like, hey, how do you do this?
It's crazy. Like in the community, it's like everyone becomes your best friend, and like they become your best supporters. I'm like, I don't even know you, but you're so cool. Thank you. I mean, like, where else do you get this? Or like, even funnier, like you in no other community would you be like, hey man, got a salt tab or something like that? Like you would never openly take like, it's so
like,
weird,
here's a pill. I met a guy in the woods and he gave me a pill and I took it.
Like, in what other sport can you do that? Like, I mean,
right.
Yeah. You trust people in the sport, and it's cool. Everyone's cool. I think that's one of the things that, like, not to completely like throw a hot topic out there, but like I think that's why people are so scared of like UTMB and stuff like that. That's ultimately people just don't want it to change. Like they want to keep it this way, and they want, if you do that, you might be getting steroids or something. I don't know, man. You want to keep it pure, man. Even though they have an anti-doping policy, that's cool for the sport. I guess that's cool, but like I mean, you want to keep it weird, and like people just want it to be a pure sport.
I know it's been very interesting, and we can chase that rabbit a little bit. How you have your small mom and pop races, and I don't think those are ever going to change. But how some of the big ones have gotten, they're so big, and and like UTMB for instance, bought out and a little bit commercialized. And there's an aspect of it where you see Jim running through these villages with all these people, and and then he's running the trails, and there are these people in there, like it looks like a trail in the middle of nowhere, but there are people on the sides cheering him on, and that's really cool that it's that big, and like they deserve the shouts and the kudos and stuff. But then it's also kind of cool to, like, I don't know, and one of the first after I got married to my wife Jennifer, and she came with me in my first 100 miler, and like I podiumed and like got to the finish line. It was 100 miles, and like, yay, it was like 10 people there, and like, oh, I got my thing, and like she's like, that's it? I was like, yep, let's go. It's just kind of the whole opposite of it.
Yeah, you're like, I need to go to bed and actually use a real bathroom and wash myself and go to sleep and puke somewhere. These are things I need to do.
We were used to, like, we'd run Oklahoma City and other big marathons, and stuff, and people everywhere and things going on and music, and it's like us in the woods. It's like, it's like, it's just a different vibe, but I like it. I like like both aspects of it, I guess. I did Western States, and it's cool, and it's really cool. It's awesome. Oh, yeah. I'd love to do it again if when I get in when I'm 82. And
the gods determine it. I can.
Exactly. I'm gonna burn a candle, say something. Anyway. But I don't know what has been. So I've looked through, and you've done. This is what's hilarious. I'm looking through, and the first race that I'm showing that you completed here in 2017 in September is the Barkley Fall Classic.
Yeah.
That's the first one on your ultra side up.
It's a really stupid path, man. I don't recommend it. Like I said though, I was very I don't know. Like I was just like I went all in. Like I don't recommend doing that. Like I basically my trajectory was like 5K marathon, attempt the Barkley Fall Classic.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I love it. Well, I told you when we were talking before, I knew we were going to have a good conversation because my first race was a marathon and then my first ultra was 100. So I just kind of, just kind of skipped around a bit myself.
I mean, it's a cool. I love when people do that. Like you, or like you did. Like I love when I'm at a race that somebody says like I've never ran anything before. Like and we're doing 100 or something. I'm just like, oh, you are awesome. You're great. Those are the people I love. I'm just like, yeah, just tell me more about this. Like, how did you get here, man? And why do you want to be here? And are you happy you're here now? And stuff like that. It's just like it makes me laugh the whole time.
Yeah, then you see them like mile 75, and they got that blank stare on their face, like this is my first race.
There's this guy like I do a race like almost as much as I can. I do the C&O Canal 100. I mean that's kind of miserable just because it's on the C&O Canal, it's flat and everything. But like I don't know, there's something I really like about because you have a lot of it. It's like right on. It basically is on 4 states, like nearby 4 states. So like you have a lot of different running communities and stuff out there. So you get a lot of different people. But there's a lot of like random people from like the Naval Academy that just sign up for it just to kind of like do it. So you always get like that kid that's out there. I just run occasionally and I just signed up for this. And like sometimes they do awesome, but other times like you'll get that dude that's like, I mean, on races like that, I usually just like chase cutoffs and just try to finish. So I'll end up like, running with them for a little bit and stuff like that. I mean, like I'm better off than they are just because I've done more races, but like, I love partying in the back with like people like that. I'm like, it's just a bunch of jokers. I love it. It's funny.
Some military guys that say, I listened to Goggins and I signed up. Stay hard. It's like,
how do you like Goggins now?
Is he still speaking? Yeah, he's an idiot.
I'm not listening to him ever again. Why did he tell me to do this?
Yeah, I'm not staying hard.
Definitely not hard right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, tell me about. I did notice that it was a repeat that you were there to the C&O Canal. Tell me about that race because I've seen it come up before. But where does it start and finish and everything?
So basically, you just do a series of evacs on it, and it's like I think each loop is like the first one it ends up being a little bit longer, and then you just do like 2, like just a little bit shorter ones. There's no elevation change. It's the C&O Canal.
Okay.
Again, the reason I like it is just because the people are cool, and like I run all over this area, so I try to run with as many running clubs as possible. But you see a lot of them out there, and like it's kind of like it's like again going back to ultras being like everyone's your best friend. It's like it's like a family environment. You're like every aid station. If you run around here, there's no way that at least like 3 people don't know you. You're gonna bump into a bunch of people, so it's kind of like. It's more just like a family environment. So I can't not do it. I don't like running on like flat stuff like that. I'd rather just like do mountain races and walk hills. I'm all about walking hills, man. Like, so like I love doing mountainous races. And like the thing that's hard for me about C&O is that it's all flat, man. So like you feel like you have to run and then you bonk out and then you hate life. And you're those kids that we talked about at mile 80. Like, why did I set up for this? And you're even worse because you've ran races before, so you're like, I should know better, but here I am.
Yeah, how many times have I done this? Yeah. No, that's it's cool though. Like, and that's part of what you said was it was a huge thing. Like, it's the people that every race I've been a part of, I've made a new best friend. It's like you get out there and you start chatting with them, and I mean, you share miles, you share suffering. There's a bond there, man. There's something happens.
Yeah, I mean, anything. The cool thing is like anything to stay awake, man. Like all the topics, sports, movies, comedy. It's just like you become comedians out there. Even if you're not funny at all. I mean, like you have the confidence because like you're trying anything just to stay awake. So it's like, yeah, everyone's cool.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting during the tail end of COVID. They were still not doing the road races, but and I have a lot of road racer friends, and this is not indicative of all of them. I'm going to say that. But the trail races started happening before the road races, and you had a lot of road runners that were joining. And it was funny because I remember one of the first ones, I think it was the Lake McMurtry 50K put on by Outlaw Race Series. And so we had to do a series of, I forgot how many loops it was. And so we did the first one, and it was over like, a little bit. And there was this road guy was like, I mean, just complaining like, oh my God, it's over. We're going to be this much over. We're going to be this much or whatever. I was like, dude, chill. I was just like, just ultras are ish. It's like he was worried about like it was going to be over the mileage. And I'm like, that's bonus miles, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I was telling people like when you see that finish line, that's when it's over. I mean, you just gotta wait for that. But it is interesting because, I mean, I ran a lot more races before COVID. I think I'm doing a lot. Again, because my girlfriend likes road, I'm doing a lot now too. But like, yeah, during COVID, I looked for like any trail race that was going on or any race in general that was going on, just because even like the obscure fat ass races and stuff like that. Yeah, just anything out there, and that's probably another reason why I went kind of more all into ultras, because they were actually happening and lower numbers of people out there and just in the middle of the woods. So like I did a lot of weird obscure races just looking for anything that was going to happen out there. So yeah, I'm glad to do some road now also, but I like to balance out though. I mean, like it's cool being out in the middle of nowhere, like on races, like not seeing anyone for like hours and stuff like that. But like sometimes I like to switch up and run with people and things like that. But I think you can have a balance with running. You can do both.
Yeah, definitely. And usually, like a lot of ultras, I end up in no man's land a lot, but then I end up sharing, when you're running 100 miles or more or whatever, you got a lot of miles to possibly share with people. And sometimes you end up sharing, not just miles, but hours, just talking with them. And you kind of, I don't know, meet up for a bit and share a section of the race. And then they take off or you take off, or an aid station splits you up, and then you find another friend, so it's
funny,
interesting.
Man. It can be kind of dramatic, man. Like I did this one race, another last race, the Bloody 11W. It's kind of low key, but like there was this I was with a group of two other people, and like this one guy, he's just like super cool guy. We didn't want to have to leave him, but he got really angry because we went the wrong way at one point, and then like we ended up going I think like 2 miles. He got pissed. I mean, so like we were just like, yeah, we were trying to explain to him like it's all right, man. We're gonna be fine. And he just he just needed like a moment or whatever just to like reset. And we didn't want to leave him. Like I felt so bad, but it was like it felt almost like something out on like a reality show or something. We're just like, dang, man. Like in the rest of the race, we're just like, that was really cruddy way to do that. But yeah, I mean that's like a kind of a weird thing, because also what's messed me up on races before, like there's another race that kind of another fat ass race around here, the Wild Oak Trail 100. There's not many people doing the race, so like you'll get in no man's land for like a long period of time, and like like when you do finally meet up with somebody, you're like, oh my gosh, yes. And then like it can almost be a detriment staying with somebody because different goals, stuff like that, or just maybe not making cutoff, or somebody's doing a different distance or whatever. So like I think that was something that was really hard for me, is just like being on my own out there, just being ready to be like in the woods, alone in the dark for hours, and not hallucinating too bad or thinking that a serial killer is going to get you. It's tough, man. I mean, like I know there's a lot of people out there, they won't admit it, but they DNF before because like they at least that race, because they didn't want to be alone for that long. Like once somebody DNF, they didn't want to be alone. They were just like, oh, my person's gone, so like my stability's gone. But like that's a tough thing to do for like these like especially low key races. Just be comfortable with yourself that you can you can be weird enough to get in your head and not get too crazy out there thinking a serial killer is going to get you or whatever the case is, but be like positive enough to like keep motivating. That's a rough thing, man. It's really tough.
Yeah. And I definitely can relate. Like I was gonna say, sometimes you're scared of what's out there, but you get alone with your thoughts and you get scared of what's up there in there, man. Like it's so when I started, I was going through divorce when I was training for my first 100, and I left a lot of garbage out on the trails, man. I was training, I was doing 40-mile Saturdays by myself in the woods and just kind of processing, and there were times there were tears on the trail, man. You get out there by yourself, you gotta like deal with yourself,
Well, that race I just mentioned, the Wild Oat Trail. So like I DNF'd it 3 times before I finished. I just finished it this year, but the same thing. Like I would like question decisions I made, like during the divorce, like, you know, relationship stuff, like, you know, am I being a good enough dad? Like just some really depressing stuff. And like, yeah, I let that stuff get to me. I think like, even like fitness wise, your head, you know, your head being in the right space, that's more important than anything. It doesn't matter how, like, to me, it doesn't matter like how fit you are. You can run every day, you can lift weights, you can do burpees, whatever. But like, if your head's wrong, man, that's the battle right there. And I think that's probably why I gravitate more towards ultras, because like you said, man, that's such a cool analogy, like leaving your trash out on the trail. I mean, like, it's true. I mean, like, I think we do that to reset ourselves and just to get more, you know, get stronger, you know, get our mind stronger. And that's a good way to look at it, man. I never even thought about that before, but it's totally true.
Yeah, man. I've you know, I'll be honest, you know, I've DNF'd races mental. I was in the best shape of my life, and it was a mental thing, you know, dealing with stuff or whatever. Just what I found is in the runners I coach and stuff, you know, gratitude, man. You gotta stay, because you're gonna want to, you know, we all drift toward the negative. You get down in the pain cave, and you've got to dig yourself out. You know, you got to acknowledge, like, all right, this sucks, but positive. What's positive? Well, I got an aid station coming up, or, you know, and thank people and gratitude. What I got to be thankful for, write it down, you know, you know, bring it with you. Just start thanking God about whatever, being thankful about things in your life or something. And that you can dig yourself out of a pretty depressing hole. It gets hard when you get, man, in that valley, and I don't like that.
I think it's almost addictive though. Cause like, yeah, like I sometimes like this kind of seeing, like, you know, like, when I get really messed up like that, or like, you know, I'm gonna get out of this. Like, you just, I think like for me, I like I get addicted to like pulling myself out of those situations. I mean, and I know it's an easy way to just, if you look at my, like, you like you just referenced, you saw my ultra sign up. You've seen, I have a lot of DNFs on there, and there's a lot of times I couldn't get out of that. And I think for me, yeah, it's just, it sucks when you get a DNF, but at the same time though, like, just, you know, finishing a really hard race like the Wild Oak Trail 100, I mean, it's just like, it's the best. I mean, there's like, I went through all that. It took 4 years or whatever. Or like Barkley Fall Classic too. That race took me, oh my gosh, I think that took me 5 years to get the 50K. Because like, yeah, 17 I got the marathon, 18 I got the marathon, 19 I didn't get in, and then 20 COVID. So like they only took like a certain amount of people. And then at 21, I got it, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this took me this long." It was great. I mean, I love that feeling, just overcoming that. It's a lot, man. It's a lot to endure and a lot to like overcome, but it's so rewarding.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's talk about, you know, about DNFs, because you know, none of us like, you know, the death before DNF and all that stuff or whatever. But I don't know. I think we need to be careful with that, because if there's not a risk of failure, why is it? I don't know. There needs to be a risk of failure. Like, you know, to me, it's not. We're not. That's what draws us to it. You know, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. And so, how do you deal? You know, you've DNF'd. How do you deal with it? You know, an hour after or the next day. Like, how do you deal with that?
I try to be like, I try to really think about like what caused me to get that. And a lot of times, like we just mentioned, like your head, how my head was in the race, like where it was at, like, you know, where was I at mentally? And I feel like, you know, this is a journey, and you know, if it's something that you can correct, and as long as you learn from it, I think it's okay. But if it's something, I mean, I've had DNFs where like I easily could have finished, like, you know, just something like, yeah, I could have, I kind of just like half-assed it or whatever. Those are the ones that disappoint me the most. Like if it's something that I could have corrected on the race, but I think even then, as long as you know what you did wrong and you identify that, you know, you could have finished, but you just succumbed to something that wasn't that big of a deal. You just know not to do it moving forward. I try not to beat myself up about it, but yeah. Also the like scheduling too. Like if you look at the amount of races that I've done over like the past few years, I'm trying to get smarter with that too. Yeah, I mean, like you don't have to do a 100-miler every weekend. I mean, like if you want to break records,
that's true.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, like going back to the knee pain and stuff like that, I did like a lot of miles earlier on in the year, and like I think some of that's regrettable. I mean, like you just doing, if you do a race every week, it doesn't make you like the most badass dude out there. I mean, like it's pretty cool and stuff like that, and I love doing it. I think for me, it's more being with the community. That's why I run so much. It's not to like a break a record or anything like that. It's just because those are the people I like to hang out with, you know. But then you can't hurt yourself doing it, you know. You gotta be smart about it too. So I think it's a tough balance, because this sport's very addictive, especially if you do have demons like that.
Yeah.
we've got lots of stuff to unpack, like you were saying. We just constantly have to throw the madness out of our head on that trail, like you were mentioning. So I think we want to keep doing that, and our body can't, our body can't take it. It's like, what are you doing? You can't be this. Your head can't be that messed up, John.
I like to say you finish or you learn, and sometimes you finish and you learn. But I've used DNFs like, and I get over it. I got to get over it. Like, and I identify what the problem was. But I've also used it like I got unfinished business. Like when I DNF'd Moab, I put the bib up above. It's right. In fact, it's still there, right above behind my monitor, so I could see it. And I use that for motivation. Like, all right, when I go back, I need to train. I need to correct it. It reminded me of the things that I messed up with. And when I go back, I want to get it done. And I use that as fuel, like the water boy would say, tackling fuel. So anyway, just to use it. But I've found also that as I get older, because in 2018, 19, I was racing a lot, 17, 18, 19, and I've had to back off just because, oldness.
Yeah.
Your body just
stinks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a cool sport, but yeah, if you want to keep doing it, you really got to learn to back off. It's tough to do, but then also, like going back to like family and stuff like that too, they're looking out for you also. I mean, they, you need to spend time with them, of course, but like, I think at least for me, like my urges to do the sport they're pretty intense. Like I said, I had issues with alcohol and stuff like that in the past. And, part of me, I definitely replaced that habit for ultras in ways. And, it's tough to take your foot off the gas. Yeah. But, family helps you out by doing stuff with them. And you may be thinking like, oh, I want to do this race and stuff like that. But, you got to be cool. And, you got to sprout the love, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a list of races I'd like to do a mile long. I'll be interviewing somebody on the podcast and they tell me about a race. It's like, oh, I need to do that one. I need to do that one. Like I can't live long enough to do all the races I want to do. It's like,
I know that's the sad thing about the sport. It's so cool. And there's so much cool stuff out there. I just wish I could do them all, man. I wish I had like unlimited funds and time, and especially like you said, time, man. There's so many adventures out there, but just do the best ones you can where you're at. Like I try to just focus on like a lot of really hard ones here on the East Coast, and just where do the best ones where you live, and just do it that way. I mean, there's so many cool adventures out there, and like I feel like we're at a really like all-time high with just races in general all around. I mean, in financially too, like there's a lot of free races, there's a lot of affordable ones in addition to like the cool expensive ones, so you can really balance it out now.
Yeah. How do you? So you're a dad. Tell me about your family dynamic and how that goes, and how you structure your training around that.
So I live with my girlfriend and her two kids, and basically my daughter, she stays with me one week on, 1 week off. It's tough during summer, of course, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Like we go to like the amusement park, like Kings Dominion here a lot, and she's doing dance. But basically, whenever there's any window, I run. Like today, for example, I ran before she got up, and we're gonna go swim. So that's kind of cool, cross training together. It'll help out the knee, and then basically when she goes to the dance tonight, then I'll run again. So like anytime I have a window, I'm pretty good at just getting in a run when I can, or like when I go to work, I'll run either sometimes before and after work. Just having to run whenever out of necessity or whatever. I've just gotten really good at just I'm not able to get a lot of long runs, especially during summer, until the weekends, and even then, like sometimes I'm not able to. But my miles will end up being pretty high for the week, but just not too many long runs, and that might be a good thing also, just help my knee get right.
Yeah. So do you have a pretty structured training plan for your races? Or are you just kind of like,
that's probably the biggest thing I'm lacking. I mean, like I've done pretty good at races, like here and there. I've gotten lucky. I mean, for the most part, I'm more of like a survivor on the races. Just I have fun. I mean, sometimes I'm good, but sometimes I just like to finish the races. But that's one thing I'm really lacking. If I had a more structured training plan, I probably would have some better quality results. But each his own. I mean, again, I kind of do this more for just this tab unplugging and just being a better me, kind of just being able to reset.
Yeah.
But I do like to do good at races. Don't get me wrong, but this is gonna sound kind of bad, but I'm a better road runner. Trails, I'm not fast on the trails, but I'm stubborn as hell. So like I look at those more adventures, and I just like try to finish them. Like I'm probably like the slowest dude ever to get a Barkley 50K finish. I am like, I think so. I finished it 3 times somehow, and every time I think it was like with like maybe under 10 minutes to spare.
Nice.
But if you look at a lot of my finishes, yeah, like that, it's just like, yeah, I think that's what I like about it too. Going back to like escaping the pain cave and just like bad thoughts and stuff like that in a race. I just like to see if I can, finish these things like that. It's tough, but yeah, somehow I get it done and I like it.
Yeah, push yourself through the. I don't know, if you don't face adversity, it's almost, I don't know. You just
and there's a lot of adversity. There is a lot of it. So yeah, it's fun.
I got a friend who's always like Barkley, and he's not he's run a marathon, but he's not an ultra runner or anything. But he watched the documentary and he's like, you need to do Barkley. You need to. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm good.
You know what's funny? So like, I'm trying to remember. Like, I don't think I watched the documentary before I ran the Barkley
really
Fall Classic. I think that's why I didn't understand like that it was separate things. I think because I just looked like on Wikipedia, like I was just looking at the hardest races and stuff like that. I might have watched it, but I can't remember. But I definitely watched it after. I was like, because like if you do the race, you see people from like the documentary out there. So like, I mean, like anyone that does want to do the big one, do the Fall Classic, because after that you might not even want to. Those dreams of doing the big one, you might not even want to. You might not even want to be an ultra runner at that point. You might not even want to run. So,
I hate life. I'm just I'm buying a scooter.
You might want to just climb up on a mountain and cry up there. I mean, there's endless possibilities, man. You might just go deeper in the sport like I did. But that's a good like testing point right there.
Okay, I have to ask, do you have pictures of your legs all scratched up from what's that climb that's all full of phones and stuff?
It's all
It's
all. I mean, my legs, you can still see them on there now, but I've done it for like I said, I've done it 5 times, so like you can. They're always like, if you look close enough, you're like, what the hell? Like you can see that stuff on there. For me, like I couldn't get like the pictures don't really do like it justice for me. I know that there's some gnarly pictures out there, but then also I'm not super fast either. So like, so I'm not out there like, clearing the path or anything like that. Like the front runners do like that. That's, I don't know how, honestly, like just running in general, like being a leader of, or even like your local 5K is hard, but like, I don't understand how they do that on the Fall Classic or like Big Barkley or any of that. I mean, like one, you're blazing a trail and like, you're just like, you do have to stay on the course. There's like rules like about like the power lines and stuff like that. So like you can't just kind of like choose your own adventure. You have to actually assess, and like there is a map and stuff like that, and it's marked too. So like you really have to. You can't just make up your own thing when you get out there. So like I don't know how they do that. Like the pressure just being in front is one thing, but then also making sure you're going the right way. Clearing the path off, using your arm at like a machete to clear briars. Like I don't know how they do that. Like it's rough. I mean, like even just being like, usually the way I do it, this is like the worst strategy ever. And like this is probably something I could like improve on if I want to do better there. But again, I just kind of survive on these races. I go out like really fast in the beginning. Like there's only a few races I recommend doing that, but this one of them, just go wherever there's a road, just run as fast as possible. And then when you get to like, the hard stuff like Radjaw, because like I know for me, like especially going down Radjaw, I'm like the worst downhill runner there is. And when there's like just briars everywhere hitting you in the face, like smacking you, climbing through like tunnels of like tunnels that people made with their body to clear briars. I mean, like I can't run through that stuff fast. I can't even like shuffle it fast. I can't do anything. So like this is kind of a sad story. I want to say like my girlfriend and I were going to run together this year. We both got in. But like I dropped out just to volunteer because I should volunteer. I've done the race 5 times. I need to volunteer and help out. But also I know she'd get angry at me because she's a much better trail runner than I am. And when we got to parts like that, I would hold her up. And also if you do the race with somebody else, you probably should just like, I don't know, like for me and her, I know like it's better if I just kind of wait for her at the end and just be ready there with like, I don't know, a priest, maybe some a bucket of water and like a sponge. Just like she's gonna like I kind of it kind of gives me nightmares thinking about both of us like finishing around the same time. Or again, she would finish ahead of me, but like even then, I mean, like you're destroyed. I mean, you're covered in mud, poison ivy, briars, ticks, whatever. I mean, like you need somebody helping you out. And like I was thinking about, I was like, this is gonna be such a mess. We're not doing that. I mean, I'll I'll sacrifice myself this year. I'll volunteer and make sure she has a good time to experience it, because I really feel like I would drag her down to a very bad place, and she probably wouldn't like the race, and I want to give her the full experience.
Nice, nice. So yeah, you're making the sacrifice while she sacrifices herself to the trail.
Well, that's the funny thing. Who's really sacrificing?
Yeah, who's really saying? You're like, I'll just wait. I'll just help.
She's mad at me too, because initially I was like, "Oh, we're gonna do the couples Barkley Bear.
Yeah.
we're gonna do the couples Barkley Fall Classic." But then, yeah, I saw the writing on the wall. It's like, you see, because she's a real good trail runner. She grew up in New England, like where there's like horrible, like there's trails and there's like really hard trails, and like there is really hard. Like so like she's good at that stuff naturally, and I would really slow her down, because I frustrate her sometimes. Like I'll be like, she'll be running with me for a while, and then effortlessly she's just like, all right, well, bye. And
see ya.
Yeah, she's done like 3 hours waiting. Like she has like a new set of clothes on when I'm done, and like she's like showered. She's got like, she's like all put together. I'm like, did you even run today? What happened here? Was I out there for how long was I out there?
Nice. Well, and that's the thing. Like one of the things I love about running, ultra running and stuff is that you got people that are flying through the trails, and you got people who are, but you're covering the same amount, and everybody's wants everybody else to succeed. Everybody's cheering each other on, and it's pretty cool. When I did Tahoe, one of the coolest things was Courtney DeWalter, she placed second that year, but like she was already like showered, hanging out, probably took a long nap, drank a beer. She had a beer, and like, and I finished 17th, so it wasn't that bad, but she was there, and like, but she came, like, she was cheering me on, hey man, you great finish. And she was asking me how I liked parts of the trail, and talking about, what you had planned. And, and it was just like she just crushed this thing, but she wants to hear how I like the trail, and just, I don't know, it's cool.
I think that's part of like going back to like the community being so cool. Like, yeah, even elite runners that have been on like Joe Rogan and stuff like that. I mean, like they'll talk to you. I mean, like, like it's so accessible, and like, but it also like parts of it are kind of like scary too, because like online, like people are like, I've seen like people talk trash to people they have no idea they're talking trash to. Like some dude, I just ran a 50K the other day. I think I know what I'm talking about. Like, no, you didn't. You're just, why are you this dude's ran 100 milers. What are you doing, man? I mean, like they have no, like, it's so weird. Like it's so, people are almost too accessible in the sport. Like you would never be able to like do that with like if you were a basketball player, you would never be able, you would know better than to talk to LeBron James like that online. Like, let me tell you about this, LeBron. Like, no, you're doing the same thing with like runners here. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, so like at any race and I've been at some races where there's somebody that I didn't know who they were or whatever, and then you find out who they are. Like, like you're at a race and you see some guy dressed in a court jester outfit, and you're like, who's that guy? What's up with that? What a weirdo. And then you find out, wait, that dude's a beast, man. He's run how many hundreds? His name's Ed. Okay. And you meet people on the trail, and then you end up like, Walter Handloser at him at that same Tahoe. And then, he talked about his goal to break the record for hundreds in a year. And then he did it, and it's like, wow,
that dude he's so awesome. Yeah. So like, he does a lot, and that's the thing. Like a lot of these guys, like Walter, they just do like local races. You meet so many cool people. But yeah, like when Walter, Billy, and gosh, I'm blanking here.
I know what you're talking about. Give me a second.
I've done it. He was just at Cino Canal. I'm such a jackass. I just ran with him a little bit. Oh man, what is his name?
He lives in
Michael.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, Ortiz.
Sorry, Ortiz.
Yeah,
sorry, man. But yeah, like it's so. That was like honestly, like I tell this all the time. Like that was the coolest. It kind of stunk that happened right before COVID. I feel like 2019 was like the cool for me. That was the coolest year ultra running, because like we had like that was one of the coolest storylines. Like I don't think that's been. I mean, like. Call me out here, but I don't think that's been matched, man. I mean, that was so fun to follow, and we saw those guys at races constantly. It was awesome. I mean, I wish that there was more people that wanted to do crazy stuff like that.
Yeah. So I live in Owasso. It's a town. It's a suburb of north of Tulsa, and they came all three to do a race here that at Hockmeyer, who I'm interviewing tomorrow for the podcast, put on. But it was a 200 at a local park, a 1.7 something mile loop that they did too. Anyway, they all showed up as part of that. And so I had training races to do. So I went pace them for, just shared a bunch of miles with them. And it was just like, it's crazy that all these guys are going for the record at the same time, and they're all good dudes, and out there encouraging each other.
It was so funny because you knew if you were going to sign up for 100, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to see him out there. And sure enough, it was awesome. I think like that year, I can't remember how many hundreds I did, but I saw you were always guaranteed to see him because they were looking for any race possible to get these in. It was amazing.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. That, anyway, I don't know how.
I'd go broke. I would.
Yeah. I don't know how financially, logistically, physically, emotionally.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I'd feel so much remorse during there. I'd probably get a million DNF, or I'd probably DNF constantly just because I'm away from my kid again. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm such a bad dad.
Yeah,
but, I wish there was a way to fit in all those adventures. If I could, I would totally do 100 miles every weekend. It'd be amazing. But just you can't do it.
We just need to, live in a conversion van, take your kid with you, and then just have, just go from race to race. And
all right, kid, we're going running.
Just live like that, I don't know what you do for work, but yeah.
Eventually, when my dog gets older, maybe I would like to get 100 milers. I'd like to join that club, but I've got a long way to go, and I'm not able to get it. Yeah, it's hard to get that in. If I'm lucky at most now, maybe 300 to 400 a year if I'm lucky, but it's probably going to be starting to be like 1 or 2, but I love doing hundreds. I wish I could do them every day.
Yeah, me too. I like it too. I like it. It's the right distance to I don't know, just challenge you and push you and hurt you and all of that.
I mean, you can't say you hallucinated at a local 5K. That's not on the table, man.
You did it very wrong if you hallucinated a 5K.
or really right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I tell people, I said a 5K, if you're racing it, it'll hurt. It just won't hurt that long. 5Ks suck if you're racing it.
I think that's what happened. So I was doing a bunch of ultra stuff early on in the year, and then my local running club, the Fredericksburg area running club, they do a Grand Prix series, and I was like, all right, I'm going to 5K. I somehow got under 20 minutes, but
nice.
I think that's actually where my knee pain started, because I wasn't doing any speed or tempo work. I was just running super slow mountainous races. If you look at this year on my ultra side up, it's just these really slow mountain races, lots of vert, running on rocky technical terrain. When I say running, I air quote, but just
moving.
There wasn't a lot of that. There was a lot of running, but and then I was like, I'm gonna do this 5K, and the funny thing with run clubs like that too, if you're friends with a lot of people in there, you've been going there, everybody, and the competitive stuff comes out. It's a great way to get injured. I mean, it's an excellent way to.
Exactly.
I'm gonna beat this guy I've never beat before, and then I still got smoked. But I mean, anytime I go under 20 at 5K, I have to like that because I'm not super fast. But that it's fun. It's the experience, but it's also a good way to get injured. Just gotta be careful out. Gotta be careful out there, guys. Gotta be careful.
Used to do a lot of road races and marathons in my buildups, but it got to where pavement, man. I'd run a marathon on the road one weekend, and the next weekend do a 50 miler on dirt, and I'd recover much quicker from the 50 miler was easy. I mean, as far as recovery, it's still hard, but it's a lot easier on the body with the joints and everything else than running on concrete.
Yeah, I mean, I think though with shoes, at least I think road shoes are getting so good with the carbon plates and stuff like that. I mean, I don't run in those every day because they're expensive, and two, that would be a detriment also. But in my opinion, but for using a carbon plate on a race, I feel I recover a lot better using those.
Really?
Yeah, I feel the way road shoes are right now. It's we're in a good age right now with road shoes. I mean, trail shoes are good too, of course, but I feel I really like the way road shoes are compared to when I first started running. It was interesting starting to run in 2017 because they didn't really have I think carbon plates just started coming out then, or the year following or something like that.
Yeah.
But, the technology in the road shoes, it's just it's pretty incredible. I mean, trail shoes are doing really well, but I feel the road shoes just have something different.
Which shoes? Spice to it. Yeah. Which shoes are you wearing?
So I review shoes and believe in the run, so I get to try. I'm lucky, so I get to try a lot of different ones. But
nice.
I mean, I'm kind of like this, especially with trails, it's so specific. I personally like shoes with really big lugs and basically, you know, a lot of support and grip because as I just mentioned, I don't like running downhill fast or like I'm more just like protect myself, you know, or I'm like on the rocky terrain stuff like that. So I really like VJ shoes because they are the lugs. I like Innovate, and I also like anything with like pretty much like a bit like, you know, really thick lugs and just you know they're anything to keep me from falling. But pretty much those are mainly VJ shoes though. They've kept me upright, so
Really,
I like them the
I
most.
don't know a whole lot about those.
Yeah, they've got the best grip on the planet. That's their tagline. So
Really?
yeah, they're really nice. And then Innovate has a really cool shoe out right now, the Mudtown Speed. That's light. It's pretty inexpensive. The only thing with that is the fit's a little kind of weird. I feel like the BJ shoe is a little bit their fit's a little bit better than that. But yeah, I choose a lot of grip because I run in the mountains a lot when I do trails, and I'm not very good trail runner to begin with. So I like having big lugs.
Yeah. Well, those the V. I'm looking right now, and they're not the cheapest shoes either. Those VJs. Like,
yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but again, if you are looking for like a cheaper pair, though, like if you look at Innovate, the Mudtown Speed, that I think that one's only 130. So like you know,
okay, yeah,
different option. But yeah, both of those are really cool shoes. It's so weird with trail running, I think, because like I can't do like the trail shoes that are just like super like almost like a road shoe, kind of like just like the lug patterns are just like a little bit like they're not as grippy. Like it just feels like a road shoe. I can't do those. If I wear those, I just fall over. I need some toughness.
You need some grip.
Yeah.
What are you wearing for road your road running?
So like I was saying, like, the carbon plate shoes are so good. I pretty much just like look for like shoes that are on discount. Like,
Okay.
if I can get like a cheaper carbon plated shoe, I run a lot of Endorphin, the Endorphin Pro a lot, the Saucony Endorphin Pro.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. But like, you know, anytime I can find like a really cheap carbon plated shoe, I kind of just roll with it because I feel like there's so much better than like the marathon shoes I was initially using when I started running marathons. It's just it's so good. Like for me, you know, recovery while you're running and then after, it just feels much better. There was times I ran I ran the Blue Ridge Double. Are you familiar with that here in Virginia? It's a road race, but it's got some crushing downhill on it. I remember like I would just wear like regular standard shoes and just be like really hurting after the race or even like a week after.
Yeah.
Like I did the race again in like a pair of carbon plated shoes, the Adidas Adios. Or their carbon plated shoe, the Adidas one. I can't remember what it is, but like I ran in that and I felt just so much better. I was like, oh my gosh, like you can like really tell for like recovery. It's just they're much better. It's much better technology.
Well, when I started running, I had read Born to Run, and I did my first marathon and my first races, and all training on the road were in Vibram 5-finger shoes. And and so, you know, I was watching my form and all that, and then I ended up like, all right, I need some kind of cushion, and so I transitioned. I did some Hoka stuff, but I ended up running with like Ultra Zero Drop, and I love Ultra Olympus. I'm not on their team anymore or anything, but I still wear a lot of their shoes. But so when I wasn't on the red team anymore, I was like, I'm going to buy some other shoes because I hadn't. So I started looking and I went to our local, shout out to Runners World Tulsa. They are awesome. Anyway, shout out to them. They're awesome. If you need shoes, go over there. They'll help you out. But I was like, all right. So Kathy, who's got, I don't know, 50 something hundreds under her belt, I said, I need some road shoes. What you got? She said, not Ultra. Nope. And, so I never would have thought I would walk out of there with a pair of New Balance. The New Balance, I don't even remember that. Is it the Nimbus? I think they're called. Let me grab them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Wait, it's the Fuel Cell.
Okay, they're Rebel.
Yeah, the Fuel Cell.
Okay, cool.
I've got some miles on these though. But
dude, New Balance is awesome, man. I mean, like I have a lot of their shoes too.
But the cushion and the feedback from them, man, I was like, what?
It's amazing.
I ran with them and I need something to help with the knees, the knee.
Oh yeah.
And fantastic, man. I was like, it's pretty good.
I've went through all phases of like, I think like this is like, so going back to like the Vibrams, I haven't ran in Vibrams, but I have ran like races in sandals before. And like, have you heard of Zero?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've ran in like some of their stuff. It's interesting with Zero Drop, man, because like Ultra, like they have a drop shoe now.
Yeah.
So they're kind of changing a little bit, but there's so many now boutique Zero Drop like shoe companies popping up. There's so many different ones out there.
Yeah.
You know, I use Ultra a lot for trail shoes and stuff like that. I don't necessarily like the road shoes, but I mean, I use a lot of like, you know, I do like Zero. It's interesting how many different options you have, and it's cool because, you know, all runners are different. You know, it's very specialized. It's different trails, different, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they have like gravel shoes now. They have like everything you could like, like they have like shoes now that you can like do road, trail, like, you know, road, trail, gravel, whatever. Like they have shoes for snow. It's amazing.
Yeah, Ultra made the Outroad. I've got a pair of those. I've got some shoes there. So, but I rotate them, you know, like I'll wear the New Balance, I'll wear the Torrens, I'll wear the Escalantes, I'll just, you know, whatever. So they all last a while.
Yeah. I learned early on, like anybody. I mean, like I was just trying to do like marathon training in one pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. That's one funny thing about being a runner, like the way your shoe collection accumulates, and then like not wanting to get rid of certain shoes. Like they're like, my favorite trail shoe all time is the Hoka Evo Speed Goat. I still don't understand why they don't make that shoe. It's awesome. I'll never throw that away. Like if it does get thrown away, whoever does it, I will like. We're going to war basically.
Fisticuffs.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like so. I wore that like way past the point of like. Usually the only shoes I keep that long because like the carbon plated shoes are normally expensive. It's almost like a family member. I'm like, don't throw this away. Like, you know, like if if I find it gone, I'm like, no. You're like, that shoe's like literally killing your feet, John. You know, like, it's cracked in half. No, keep it.
You know how much I paid for it?
Yeah, even on sale. I mean, like, I can't throw them away. Like, yeah, I still have the Vaporfly too. Like, I still run 5Ks in it sometimes. But yeah, like, you know, I keep a lot of shoes. I have a Hall of Fame wall, and definitely the Evo Speed gets on there. And
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like I was big into Hoka at first, man. Like I now I'm kind of just like, if I can get a pair of shoes like as cheap as possible that I know they're going to work well for like a specific race, I just roll with that. And you know, again, VJ is my favorite just because of the grip and they keep me upright. But like I'm kind of like, you know, you can't use that shoe for like the road because it's so aggressive and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like a nomad when it comes to like certain races and just being able to. I just look for what's going to keep me upright and you know, not get my feet destroyed.
do you remember the Hoka Stinsons? And I call them my Spider-Man shoes because they were red, but then they had these weird strappy things. I don't know the way their laces were. Anyway, I had two pair and I ran all these races, all these things with them years back, and then I gave them to my dad. And my he likes to hike and whatever. And he's worn those things for years. And then finally they blew out, but he gave a pair of them to my uncle who's still wearing them. And this is like, I'm not joking, maybe 10 years or something, maybe not that much, but like there's so many miles on them. And now my dad, he finds his feet are perfect with he just bought some Hoka, the Stinson 7. He's like, all other shoes hurt his feet when he goes hiking. But the Stinsons are great. So he swears by them.
Dude, you just reminded me of something funny. So like I was doing was it CNO Canal 100 last year, and I was wearing a pair of Ultra Olympus. I wore those for the whole thing. I used to love that shoe. Like that was my shoe.
I still do. I love them for the trails.
Yeah, like so when I crossed the finish line, like the shoes were blown out because I had worn them like a bunch of races before this 100-miler. This guy, he was like, do you want those shoes? I was like, nah, take them. So as I was getting in my tent, I took them off and gave them to him. This year I saw him out there in the shoes.
Dude.
the same volunteer. I was like, cool, man. But yeah, like that's how it is, man. Like if you can do it, man, cool.
My son has so many pair of Lone Peaks and stuff because he's a big hiker. I was like, there you go, I'm done with these, you know.
People do it. I mean, like I'm like this. Like I know like some people are like, okay, I need to get 400 miles out of these shoes. If a shoe starts hurting me, like even if it has like, I try to at least get like 100 to 200 miles out of a shoe. But if it starts hurting me, like around that area, I feel like it's better off just getting rid of it. But I try to get the most out of it. But I rotate a lot, like you were saying. Also, I mean, I'm not gonna like hurt myself to get like nominal usage out of a shoe.
Well, Well, I track my mileage on them, but I kind of do the same. And then so they go from my running shoes to my wear to the gym shoes to my grass cutting shoes. If I don't give them away, And so
Circle of life, man.
I have all different stages of of the life cycle of my shoes.
Yeah, it's sometimes you get lucky and there's like a shoe that looks kind of cool. Like you're like, oh, I could wear this as a cool shoe after, like something like just out like normal. But then a lot of times, I mean, like I just look for function. So a lot of my shoes, it's just like like maybe I'll cut the grass with this or walk the dog.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing I have a black pair of Superiors, but they're completely black. It's a trail shoe, but and we dress business casual at work, but because they're just black, I wear those to work. That's my work shoe every day right now. A black pair of trail shoes. Yeah.
That's actually good. So like, yeah, you know what? Like, they need to make more shoes just all in black. They probably don't want it just because of that. It's like, he's gonna use it as a business shoe afterwards.
That's right. That's it. It's all good.
That's funny, man.
Well, man. So what do you do? I've been forgetting to ask this, and somebody pointed it out, and so I need to ask. So we talked about shoes. What watch are you? What GPS watch are you using? I like to talk about equipment. I like to know what people are using.
So that's interesting. I'm kind of halfway Garmin, halfway Coros. But the problem is this: I'm not really aligned with any watch right now. I'm half a nomad. No, because the Garmin's are too expensive. So the Garmin I have is like a hand-me-down. Like when I first started running, I just bought like a cheap marathon one, and it didn't last long enough for ultras. So like I bought a Coros Apex, but with the problem with that one, it was like I had it during COVID, and we were running circles around like airstrips and stuff. Then basically wherever we get miles. So like I think I just burned the watch out, but it died like a month after the warranty. So I was so livid for Coros. Yeah, it was like it was a bad situation. I was like, but the problem though is that Coros is so cheap. Like like they're still like the guy with like the best price point. So like. Did you ever watch Seinfeld? Like the relationship between Elaine and Putty? It's almost like that's me and Coros. Like there's a lack of better options. So you're just like, all right, I guess I'm going back to you.
Go Putty.
Yeah. But like, I wish that like, I want to try out other ones, but yeah, watches are so expensive.
It's expensive to try them, once you, yeah.
But the Coros Apex was great just because, you don't have to really charge it during, like if you're doing 100-mile or anything like that. It's just good to go. And that's one less thing you have to worry about. So I love the Apex. Yeah. But it doesn't have the features that Garmin does. Yeah. Those are the main ones that I fluctuate. I jump between just, I usually train with Garmin, and then on race day I use Coros just because I know the battery's good. But it's almost like I'm so scared that the Coros is going to break. I have to like rotate them like shoes. Like I don't want to I use the Apex for everything, and it just burned out.
Gotcha. So what do you do like pack wise if you gotta carry your nutrition and stuff?
I like U3. I use them. I've been through a lot of different packs, man. Like when it's so weird. Like I feel like it's almost like a worse adventure, like learning your pack, even over shoes when we first started running. Because like everything fits different. Like I can't use Solomon because like my body type is weird. It looks like it looks like I have like a weird like muffin top or something. It's like stuff's coming out at different places on my body. I'm like, it just doesn't look right, so I can't do Solomon. Ultimate Direction is weird too because like for me, it's got like way too many like stash spots. Like I'll put something in that I desperately need and I can't find it. I'm like, oh, I must have forgot it. And then like I'll be doing like laundry after the race. And like I'll find I'm like, what is this? Like something like shredded in the wash. I'm like, oh, I could have used this on the race. Where was it? And I'm like, that's
why I DNF'd.
Yeah, blame it on that. That's a great one. It was Ultimate Direction.
Yeah.
No, but like so like that Ultimate Direction is cool, but I just feel like it has too many like pocket zippers. I forget stuff, and then I used Orange Mud for a while, but like after a while, I was just like, this is like, it was just kind of uncomfortable after a while. And U3 works best because it doesn't like the pack for me doesn't rattle. It fits pretty securely. It doesn't, I don't look crazy in it like a Solomon, like I was mentioning earlier with the things. And then but it was like a weird journey. Like I had to spend a lot of money and just kind of like test stuff out.
Yeah. So which one do you say you're using now?
U3. USWE, if you want to check that one out.
Oh yeah, I have seen those. I've never seen anybody wearing them, but I've seen a lot. Well, at races, actually, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that pack works for me. again, I used orange mud for a while, but like so like the water's in the back. It's just got a facility set up.
Yeah.
But I like the simplicity of it, and usually it's kind of the same deal as that. But
Yeah.
you got your water in the front because your mouth is in the front. And it works better.
Makes sense.
You got to have that. I mean, you got water here.
That's good. That's good. No, that's cool. Nice. Well, what do you eat? Like, what is your go-to eat for your races?
So like I use gels a little bit. I know like it's kind of gross, but like it's certain gels. We could talk about spring if you want to a little bit. That was kind of a funny.
Oh yeah, we can do that. We got time.
So I'm not independently wealthy, so I can't afford spring. But any kind of gels I can get cheap. That's pretty much what I do. That don't make me have explosive diarrhea. Basically, yeah, I'll go for that. And I I like using regular food too, in a combination of that and like Ensure. I use a lot of Ensure just because it's easy on the stomach, gives you a lot of calories, and yeah, I'm pretty much just like gels Ensure, and then I do eat like regular food too, especially once I start slowing down, and like a lot of like the Virginia Happy Trails running club races, like they basically have like a lot of like real food. I've had a Philly cheesesteak there before,
Nice.
like a pancake with Nutella and a banana and just I'll eat whatever. Like I love food. So like basically I have a pretty good stomach, but like early on in a race, especially when it's hot, I need a lot of liquids, and that's what I usually go for.
Yeah, Ensure. You just kind of put that in your drop bag so you can chug an Ensure and stuff. Yeah, that's something somebody when I first started told me about, and like I forget about it, but it's such a good. I mean, it's a nutrient bomb. It's in a good way. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, liquid calories sometimes are really good, and
I love soda.
So at night it's rocket fuel, man.
I quit drinking soda a long time ago, but on races, like there's nothing better than Coca-Cola or
Same.
like, oh my gosh, coffee, like a nitro cold. I always have a nitro cold during my my drop bags. They're Black Rifle coffee.
Yeah,
those are really awesome too. Like yeah, those are almost like it should be like illegal.
Yeah,
they're that good.
Yeah. Well, I do the even just like the Starbucks Frap or the off-name brand, because there's like 260 calories in some of them, sugar,
Amazing.
caffeine, all the things, and it's so good when it's cold. It just flows through the body. It's so good.
That's luxury. The only thing like went up to that is if you have like a crew member. This is like a really good crew. Like I try not to even be this dude to ask like a family member or somebody to do this, but if you have a family member that will drive to a McDonald's while you're like on a run and bring you like an actual like Frappuccino, or like even better, if you can get if you can get like a Starbucks, that's like, I try not to be like a diva like that, because I'm not really a good runner or anything. But like if somebody like brings you that, I can't even ask that. That's just like so. Yeah, that's extra.
You said you were bringing a Starbucks. I can't even work like this.
Do you ever see people like that at aid stations? Like one time, like I saw a guy slap a cup out of like this woman's hand, and like I do, I drink soda. I don't drink the water. Like I'm just like. Like what? That person just got you that, man. Come on,
dude. So my wife, when she crewed me for Tahoe, she saw some people doing that, and she said, "You better never." I said, no, I wouldn't do that. Like I wouldn't. I love you. Like I'm not going to do that.
I'm not that good of a runner. See, I'm not that good of a runner to do that. If I was a good runner, maybe, but I'm not a diva. I'm pretty self-sufficient, and like most of my friends, if I were to do that, they would let me know that's very that's not good behavior.
We're gonna talk later.
Oh no! It would be now. It would be pretty immediate, and I wouldn't have to crew after that.
Yeah, you don't want it. You're gonna wear it. Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, natural flow of events, that's sometimes what needs to happen to make people better. Just sometimes that's what needs to happen.
Well, so we need to get to spring energy in a second, but I want to get to I want to bring this out though. But so one of the things I like about ultras, and we talked about leaving our junk out there and stuff, and it reveals, for me, it reveals myself to me. Like, you want to see what's in a sponge, you squeeze it, and stuff comes out. And when I find myself in those low spots, when I find myself really, like I find out a lot about myself, like that. I mean, like we said, junk, the demons and all that stuff, but it is also validating, because sometimes what comes out is gratitude, like, thank you. This might not be the best. This might not be the Frappuccino that I wanted, but thank you for bringing it to me. You know what I mean? And just kind of trying to direct that and see what comes up, and I don't know. I that's part of the adventure for me, is like, let's see how David's doing. Let's see what comes out,
Yeah, and I mean, like, if I was in the headspace like that, like I was like rude to somebody for like taking the time to first off to help me on a race. Like, if you're gonna be like
That
mean to somebody that's taking the time like away from their kids to help you on a race, you have to
yeah.
act like, what are you doing? Like, if somebody's gonna take the time to help you finish a race, they're getting nothing out of this, and more than likely, if they're crewing somebody like me, they're going to be walking like 30 miles probably. That's the assignment. They know it, and they're
Yeah.
still doing it. So that's your friend. You
Yeah.
can't be doing that to your friend. And if I am acting like that, then I need to take a hard look at myself and be like, what am I doing in my life to make fun of, or to like to hurt somebody's feelings that is helping me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, agreed. So everybody out there, be like, I don't know, make a list or something. Have gratitude when you start just thinking, man. Thank some.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel it, thank them. Thank you.
You have a crew. I mean, like, so like a lot of times I don't have crew, and then like
Same.
what I'll do a lot of time is like if somebody DNFs, this is the coolest thing about ultra running too, is like if somebody like DNFs, a lot of times like their crew will look to help somebody else, and that's usually who ends up crewing me. Sometimes I get lucky, like my girlfriend will crew me or like friends and stuff like that. But a lot, like at just recently, a friend DNF'd, and then their crew was looking for somebody else to run with because they need to get miles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, and it's because of them I finished the race, because I was having that like the knee problems and stuff like that. I probably shouldn't have finished the race, but I just needed somebody to be like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Get the 18-minute pace, John. Come on. Grind this one out and let's go.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we talked about fuel. And so I have used Spring Energy Awesome Sauce before because I needed, in long races, long time between aid stations. I figure 180 calories, all those carbs in one, how awesome. Looking back, I balked like crazy when I didn't understand it, because I was like, I'm taking in the calories, I'm taking in the carbs. And, then I saw the Reddit where the questions were coming out, and then Coop went full ham yesterday, dude. That dude didn't pull any punches on.
They're getting crushed. And like, if you looked at like, I guess like I saw this like yesterday, I think Spring put out like another thing to like disable the comments on it. Like,
yeah, I saw that too.
I went right to the I was like, where's the comments?
That's exactly what I did.
I gotta see this. And
there
then,
are no comments.
Yeah, they're all gone. I'm like, that would have been great. That was like that's like popcorn. You just gotta just sit there. This is gonna be really good. And took it away from.
You gotta give Jason Coop, he knows his stuff, and he just pulled, he, and even other coaches that are involved in the Awesome Sauce and all that, like he named names and went, and I was like, whoa, but really, think about, I'm just, one guy, and I use that and I had issues, but think about the, like you said, the professional runners, people who, man, why am I not doing well? I'm getting, and you factor those in, you think you can trust the labels, and maybe not.
All other like gels are unnoticed right now. I mean, like, you better have your stuff together, man.
Yeah, well, he did test a goo gel, and it had more carbs than it said, so it was good. Yeah, but I have a feeling there are going to be a lot more testing going on and stuff. And
again, for like we touched this on a second ago, like the price for those things. I mean, like, I can't believe. First off, I can't believe they charge that much from it. Second, that they don't have what's advertised in them. Like, good luck.
Yeah, dude, I know that, and I always got mine. I'd wait till the feed had a sale or something, and I'd get some, and I was like, all right, but I'm investing so much time and all this into this race, I can do it. But then to find out that I wasn't getting what I thought I was getting, like, what?
Every time I used Spring, like, I felt like I was like undernourished, but I don't know, man. Like, it's weird. It's a weird situation, and it's highly entertaining though. I like
the drama.
I try not to be like, like feed into that stuff, but I mean, we all have our guilty pleasures, and if you're gonna create a spectacle, I'm gonna watch it, man. I'm all in.
Well, when I saw Coop do the thing, and like when he's posted it, I was kind of like you said, with the popcorn, like, whoa, no, he didn't. Like they had to bleep him. He just.
Yeah, even just like the way the Reddit thing unfolded, like, I was just like, is this real? And then like I was posting to my friends, and we were just like laughing at it, and then like it just blew up. I didn't think it was gonna get like I thought that Spring was gonna like I didn't think it was gonna be accurate. I thought Spring was gonna be okay, and then
well, there were people saying, you obviously don't understand nutrition, and they put whatever in, and then so Coop's like, well, I'll spend he had to spend like what $1,000 per test or something for per packet. He spent like $4,000 testing the goos and stuff. And so the other ones came out under too, the camaraderie or whatever. And since then, so I'm like, oh, so the whole line is garbage, man. It's like, what?
It stinks too, because that was like probably the most palatable of any gel I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, it was barely. Yeah, it was because we weren't eating anything.
That's right. You weren't getting enough. Like,
we had nothing.
I normally can't handle this many carbs. Well, you're not.
Yeah, yeah, you're not, and you're paying for it too,
right. Oh man. Well, you know what's funny is I was thinking through like Sally McRae is not affiliated with them anymore, and so like she used to have I forgot which. I forgot she had one of their formulations with them or whatever, but she's been out for a little bit now doing, I guess, I don't know what she's doing as far as her sponsors for nutrition, but she's not affiliated with them anymore. I'm like, all right, Sally, you dodged the bullet. You know what I'm saying? Sage Canaday posted on his site something about athletes don't know the formulations, please choose kindness or something, and I'm like, all right, you know, I mean I understand,
that guy's a lightning rod. I mean I follow him. I don't like read too much in this stuff, but like you don't even have to, because like you're gonna have like at least like 5 podcasts talking about him daily and just like, you know, people posting about him, but he's almost like the closest thing we have to like Stephen A. Smith, I think, in like, you know, on ESPN. I feel like he's got a lot of fire, man. Like people talk about him.
Yeah. And, anyway, he's a unique character. Like he does the goofy posts and all that stuff, and then he's opinionated about things, and
he's got some good hot takes, man. He gets people talking.
Yeah, that's it. So anyway, it's I don't know. It's kind of funny when you start talking about the drama in the ultra community. You know, the UTMB saga, the thing. You know, who's going to be at UTMB this next year?
Drama, like fun drama. We have UTMB. We have spring right now.
Yeah.
Drama. Yeah, but it's like, you know, our sport is like it's, you know, I think it's relatively, you know, harmless compared to like the problems plaguing other sports. Yeah, so I think, you know, we have fun with it. You know, for the most part, I think.
Yeah. As long as you stay off for some of those forums on like Let's Run and stuff, they get kind of crazy. But
like
those are more road runners though.
Well, that's kind of people do make the argument like because UTMB is the way it is, like, you know, you're going to get a lot more type A type of people going into trail running when it's, you know, like, I mean, I think for the most part there's room for like people like me, and then you know, people that are more driven and stuff like that. I mean, I think we all get along. That's going back to like, you know, seeing like, you know, Courtney at a race, giving her a high five or somebody like that. I mean, for the most part, the elite athletes are cool. You know, like everyone just likes the sport. But there are people coming into the sport that are just like not cool. You know, like they're like on your left, like those type of people. You know, like you didn't even say hi. You know, like, come on, please say hi to me or something, man. You know, like
tell me good luck. Good job.
Tell me something.
Yeah,
on your left. It's like, I don't know, man. Like that is kind of annoying, because I mean, like, I don't know, if I am going to pass anyone or anything like that. I mean, I try to talk to people. It's chill. I think that's like. That's one thing I think that initially struck me with like doing road racing versus like trail. Like everyone was just chill. Like it was like almost like unwritten rule. Like you talk to the person for a little bit, and you're like, all right, well, I'm sure you have to say the standard stuff too. You're like, all right, well, I'm sure you're gonna catch up to me in a little bit, you know. And like, yeah,
that's right.
A little more gentle and fun, you know.
Yeah, not I'm gonna smoke you. Taking souls.
Go on, man.
Yeah, no, and so I don't know. I think it's just a good reminder. You know, we can kind of I don't know, wrap up with that. Like, just, you know, let's keep our sport cool. Let's be that.
Don't be so aggro, man. I mean, like, you know, be cool. We're all cool. You know, elites. You know, to people like me. You know, we're all friends here.
Yeah. We're
all eating spring energy here. We're all in the same boat. We're all trying to get into the UTMB. Or maybe not secretly. I don't know.
We're all malnourished and trying to get into
all it is, man. We're just malnourished people just trying to live the sport, man. That's it. All it is.
Well, John, before we wrap up, man, what's next? What you got going on next on the calendar?
So, girlfriend and I, we are going to do the Baltimore 10 mile tomorrow.
All right. Tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Sorry, Saturday. We're leaving to go to Baltimore tomorrow. But then after that, I'm doing a 24-hour race. I'm doing the Tree Chamoy 24-hour race up in Congers. I'm terrible. And hopefully with the power of editing, that can be solved. But and if not, that's fun too. Just keep it in. It's fine. But I'll be doing that. Initially, I wanted to try to get over like 130 miles for this one. but I don't think I can pull it off because of my knee. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I did a track race last year, and this is what wanted me to do this race. I did a track race last year, and it went really well. I went over 100 miles.
Nice.
And yeah. I mean, like, I had big plans for this one, but I had too much earlier in the year. I think did too much.
Yeah, and sometimes we gotta adjust our plans. I had big plans too, and now it's like I'm just gonna finish.
Well, we'll see. I mean, like, I'm not one of those dudes that I'm gonna break. If I break a leg, I'm gonna keep going, man. I'm not that guy. But like at the same time, though, I am going to New York, so I mean, like, I live in Virginia. It's a long drive, so I'm not gonna, there's a fine line. If I feel really injured, I'll taper it down. But I'm gonna give it a good go.
Yeah. Well, good, man. Well, okay. Last question. If you could sign up for one race, and money was not an object, and you knew you'd get in, where would you be?
Hard Rock.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, right off the bat. Like, I was trying to think about that. Part of me was thinking Barkley, but I was like, no. No.
If you wanted to die, no. Hard Rock. Yeah.
It would be hard. It would be Hard Rock. I mean, like, what's the crazy thing is I've never even done a Colorado race. Like, I just can't travel out there, man. I would love to do a Colorado race or something. I've crewed at Western States, so I've at least seen that environment. It's just what you described. It's amazing. It's an incredible race. Hopefully one day I'll get into that. Yeah.
Light a candle.
But it's got to be Hard Rock. I mean, that one's hard to get into also, and it's I mean, from all the pictures and everything I've seen about it, it just looks incredible.
Yeah, man, I highly recommend my race in July is the High Lonesome in Colorado. I love doing the Colorado races. I'm not nearly as good as I am doing the flatter trail races and all that, but I love it. So I'll do them.
It's interesting. East Coasters here, like, whenever we go out, all my friends that go out to Colorado, like, I know some really tough dudes that go out there and block out at like mile 30 and 40 because, like, it's just hard to figure out like how to do it. I mean, like, everyone, it's so funny too. That's like a hot take thing also. Like, like, what is the correct procedure for an East Coaster traveling to Colorado to do a 100-mile race, like to do Leadville?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like, I feel like there's no good way to do it unless you live in Colorado.
It's hard, man. And I'm a flatlander over here, and I go and I can't go 2 weeks ahead of time. I show up, right before. And
well, then a lot of people tell me that that's the wrong thing too. Like, you have to either like go there the day of or so. I don't know, man. Like, there's so many cool races I'd like to do there, but that does scare me because especially like, if I was going to do a race, I would do like Ure.
Yeah,
did I say it wrong?
Yeah.
I would do that one because it's not a lottery. You're not. I mean, like, it's still like not expensive, or it's still managed cost wise. It's still like it's not. It doesn't break the bank or anything.
Yeah.
But like, to do Leadville, it's expensive. It's hard to find the Airbnb because everyone's there. And then if you go out there and bonk and like die at like 30, that is like. That's horrible. That's like, I can't even, it's like hurting me thinking about that right now.
And you know what? There are so many cool races out there. Like if my knee wasn't jacked up, I'd be this weekend at Mesa's Hideout, which is a low key race put on, I think, by Tempest. They have a few other races in that area, but like you could just sign up and get in, and it's a true mountain race, and everybody that does it loves it, and the buckle looks cool. And so there are a lot of races out there that are just phenomenal, but you can just go do, and they're good mountain races
all over, not just Colorado, but like, for anybody that thinks that they don't have mountains where they live, well, you might not. You might live in you might live in Indiana or something. The golf course is your only mountain, but there's local races that like that you can still do. Like, I mean, like, I've got luckily in Virginia we do have mountains and stuff like that. But I mean, like, there's cool races here that don't cost money. Like, I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I have to do this real big expensive race, for whatever reason. But there's other cool races out there. You don't have to, you don't have to do the big, most prestigious one. There's a lot of awesome alternatives out there, and you can figure a way to get into the big one. But in the meanwhile, there's good alternatives.
Yeah, you can support the local smaller races, and
it gets me mad. Like, oh, I have to drive 3 states over to do this race. Why? You have a comparable one right here. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, John, man, it was good visiting with you, getting to know you, man, and hopefully we'll meet up at a race someday.
Colorado, man. Actually, no, we'll be at UTMB
with our spring energy.
Oh, man. Wearing orange mud.
Wearing orange mud. There you go.
with our water bottles in the back.
That's right.
Just have a big straw going to the back.
That's right. That's right.